Hey guys, Gummy-Bear saying hi too. It's my buddy. But had my first remote therapy appointment. You know, over the years I've had counseling and therapy as a kid growing up, and I think the last time I dealt with one was probably in my early 20s. But this was new. The last time I did any form of, like, I guess they call it telehealth or remote health or whatever it's called, telehealth or whatever. The last time I had something like that was for an eye doctor, and it was a different experience considering when I went into the room to do my eye testing and all this. I was expecting a doctor to be there when I went, and there was like a little TV thing that was there, and that was the doctor. It was weird. This was nice, and the therapist was able to kind of explain how it not only works, but she answered a question that I had without even asking, and that was, see, what I've done is I went through a lot of therapy and counseling and all that as a kid growing up because of the abuses I dealt with as a child within my family, and then plus because of my disorder that I deal with. It was originally presenting itself in more of a cognitive issues when I was a teenager, before we found out that it was my NF2. But so what I've always tried to utilize the tools that I was taught from previous counselors and all that. My first counselor, therapist type person that I had as a child, her name was Dr. Nishi Stratner. And then there was another doctor I worked with, was Dr. Drinka, and that was in the Portland area when I was a kid, and I saw them for quite a few years there, actually. And I had some other ones, but I always tried to take what I learned from those sessions to try and apply in everyday life. That's what we're supposed to do. But I found that as I got older, some of the things that some of the coping methods and skills I learned are not working so well. I wasn't taught how to deal with PTSD. I wasn't taught how to deal with anxiety attacks and panic attacks. I wasn't taught to deal with. So, like, for example, I'm getting ready to go to the store right now. Sure, I do alright. You know, when you see me doing other past videos, I do alright where you don't think really anything. But I have to mentally prepare myself to go into public spaces most of the time, because I don't do good around groups of people. So it's one of those things that I've got to work on. But no, the therapist I'm working with now, her name's Bonnie Edwards, and she's out of, I think she said Utah, and it's through the BetterHelp app. BetterHelp. I think it's BetterHelp. But she does a type of therapy that I can appreciate, which is a form of self-awareness, becoming more mindful about yourself and what's going on and your thoughts and all that, so that way you can kind of get better control of how you act or react, and you'll hopefully have better methods of communication as well. I know for me, I tend to be an emotional communicator because don't I don't have the world's largest vocabulary. So if I struggle to get something out, I can get frustrated. So I mean, it makes it hard on relationships when you can't communicate right, and you're trying to get something out, but you can't get it out without them being offended or getting upset and not understanding that you're genuinely trying to communicate. So I'm just hoping and that this will help. The lady was really nice. There was kind of a immediate connection there. She reminds me of my cousin Sharon. If that, I don't. None of you know who it is, but she's my second cousin. She'd be my mom's first cousin. Really nice lady, and very informative about what she's doing. So I mean, it was a great experience to be able to start getting this going. Whether it helps out my current situation or not, I'm hoping it helps out in the long run. Because I'm tired of broken relationships, and I'm tired of not being able to communicate what I'm feeling or thinking or going through without the aggression, really. When I was younger, I was a very social person and didn't have a lot of the struggles that I do now. Then again, when I was younger, I didn't deal with the levels of hatred that I've dealt with over the last few years, let alone from my own family and all that over the last 2-3 years. So I just keep hoping that things will be alright and that this will help. Because I'm not the kind of person that likes to go out and hurt people. I don't get off on that. And if I hurt someone, it does bother me for a while. It's like one of the things of guilt that I battle with every day is the loss of my brother and my sister. Well, they were two of my best friends, but they were very much brother and sister to me. And the guilt I deal with where my brother's concerned is he had passed away from an overdose. Caused him to have heart failure and all kinds of stuff. And so I've had to live with the guilt my whole life, through all of it, for being the one who introduced him to the drug that killed him. I went clean back when I was around, like totally clean other than cannabis, was probably around, I was 23 or 24. And after that, I spent time trying to get him to clean up too, because I knew what it was doing, not just to our bodies, but to our minds. And it got to a point there I couldn't see or talk to him for a couple years because I didn't want to see him. I couldn't keep watching my best friend basically destroy himself because of me. And after a couple years of no contact, I saw him standing at a bus stop, and I made sure I stopped, picked him up, and took him home. and had a talk and all that, and he was doing pretty good there for a while. But the last 2 raws is what took him. That's the one thing I can say is I don't like hearing about people's last 2 raws. Even if they can walk away from it fine. But I'm hoping this will help with the current situation and a lot of the previous stuff that I've been carrying with the baggage and all that. So, but the therapy appointment was really, and it was nice. She was a really good lady, and I mean, I think she got to see me go through a little bit of a panic attack, because like right now, give you an idea, I'm at the store and I'm struggling to get out of my truck to go in the store. It's kind of things that I dealt with at home too when I'd have to go to town by myself. I have to kind of walk in the store kind of like tunnel vision, so I don't pay attention to all the people. Otherwise, I end up going into panic attacks. I didn't have that issue. Well, I had that issue in my relationship, obviously, when I would go into stores, but I didn't. It was easier to go into a store knowing that I had somebody with me. So I'm just trying to build myself up, get my mask ready for going in the store, and hopefully get through it, because I gotta go in and I gotta get a couple things to drink and something to eat or whatever, because I'm not eating good, I'm not sleeping good, and I'm just trying to get my way through this shit. I'm not proud of myself, I'm not proud of what I did. And that's why I'm trying to do my best to get some help. Because my ability to communicate and my ability to be more self-aware of my communication and all that stuff, it needs to come in check. So I hope everybody has a good day, and doing my best to still try and cope with everything. And I'm gonna go in and go get a couple things for snacks and something to eat and all that. So yeah, enjoy your day, guys.